Hey family, welcome to and welcome back. I'm So Ronica and I'm so ready to remind you to sow into your future. So, here on today's episode of Sow Into Your Future, I am putting on some much needed lotion. But no, we are getting ready to finish the, I want to say black and white, but it's really a dark brown skirt set slash dress. It's going to start off a skirt set and then it's going to turn into a dress. Yeah, I was so excited about this. This was the first outfit I made where the connecting process was like, I ain't gonna say it was a cinch, but I figured out um, how to connect it and where there was no like bulks in certain areas. After doing it a couple times, you realize it's like, no, let me avoid the bulks. Okay, wait a minute. And also, let me just keep it 100. So this particular fabric, as I mentioned in the first portion of the video, was from Walmart. Now, it's almost like had I had known that I was going to love this fabric the way that I do, I would have gotten two of them because I think they had two. You know, it's very rare for them to have a bunch of the same kind, but when they do, it's always like, should I get another one? Anyway, so I should have gotten another one because I don't know if I can find this again, and I need to. Uh, I would like to have a little bit more so I can put a circle skirt on the bottom of it. Y'all know me; I love a good circle skirt. I just woke up, so my voice is still like getting acclimated to life. Let me drink some coffee. Hold on. And of course, I would pour it down my chin. Um, y'all. So I don't have enough fat. I went through all of my fabric, y'all. I threw away the little bitty scraps that I couldn't use, which hurt my heart. I'm not a hoarder, but there's always something you can do with your scraps, right? But I threw away the little teeny tiny pieces. But I was looking for any type of fabric that could work with this dress. And y'all, the white isn't quite white enough for my whites, and the brown is not black enough for my blacks. And I'm just like, it's a unique color. So I honestly think that this is the dilemma in the back of my mind that I think is going on whenever I purchase like a lot of one particular fabric. I'm thinking I'm gonna really love it and I'm gonna run out of fabric. Cause this is a terrible feeling, y'all. I still, even if I don't put a circle skirt on this, the bottom of it needs to be finished. It needs to have a more, it's not finished. It's uneven. I don't know if I'm just gonna go around the bottom and just serge it. Um, but it's not complete, even though technically I could just cut it. But you know, the circle skirt is kind of like a completion to it. I don't know. But anyway, let's continue on. So this is my first attempt at trying to join the two together, right? And all I'm doing is getting the two lips perched for kissing. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is just putting the fabric um like two praying hands so that, you know what I'm saying, you can go through the fingers of the praying hands with the pins. I hope that makes sense. That's how I describe it. But and then if you pin it really really good, then you don't have to worry about it being, you know, holes in it after the stitching process cuz that is so annoying. You know, you think you about to put something on and you're going to feel this what's that called? Exhilarating. It was a show named after it. What is that feeling? Euphoria? Anyway, I don't know what euphoria is. Let me not be saying random words. Okay. But euphoric feeling. And then all of a sudden you got a hole in it and it's like, you feel like a failure. So make sure that you pin that correctly. And so after I got it pinned, I realized that I had a little bit of fabric left over and it was gonna give like a bulge And I don't know if you guys remember, but we've had too many garments that were top heavy, like bulky and big fitting. The bodice was, and then the skirt was like tight. We're not doing that no more. That was cute the first 3 or 4 times. We're not doing that no more. So what I thought to do was to kind of um, take in the back. This is what I think they mean by taking in clothing when you're, making it down a size or whatnot. So I put an area where the zipper would be. I just kind of folded it over for about, I guess, an inch, that is. I don't know. And I started pinning it. And I was like, I'm going to try it on. And if it's too small, then I'll just let this out and figure out another way. And then I thought about it and I'm like, I've tried the bodice on. The bodice was not too big. Like it's not enough room for me to do this. So that's when I was like, let me do it another way. And so I decided to just try it on, y'all. I decided to put it on my body and use the clampety clamps. And hopefully my thing was I was hoping that the clamps didn't like just pop off. So after I repositioned it again, trying to make sure that I guess the lines, that it wasn't too much on one side than the other. That's how I knew that it would look, because you want the V's to be where the V's are supposed to be, right? The V in the front, the U in the back, or however, I decide to have it. So I don't know if you guys realize that the pinning process is very tedious and time consuming. Okay. And I repinned that probably 3 times, trying to see if I could get everything aligned without having to resort to what I'm doing now. Trying it on and then pinning it while it's on me, clamping it while it's on me. Now, y'all, as y'all can see, there is no room anywhere. No, but there's no room on the bodice for me to have. If I would have done that little back stitch thing, like took it in, trying to pin it evenly around, it would have been too small. I'd have been upset. I'd have been hot. Anyway, so now I'm just taking the clamps and I'm going to. No. That's the fabric marker. So first I decided to take the fabric marker because I was like, maybe, the clamps were like the third ideal. So I was like marking the fabric marker where everything, a dot here, or line here, line there. And then I'll just connect the lines, you know, when I'm pinning it. That was my logic. And then I was like, do y'all see the I love the sides. I love the freaking sides. And after I made this dress, y'all, I was watching Real Housewives of Atlanta. I forget what season it was, but it was a season where Candy had a barbecue at her house. And why Mama Joyce have on a dress that was similar to this? I mean, she had hers on with a Gucci belt, so go Mama Joyce. But so for people who are new to sewing, keep something under the needle, keep practicing, practice. Trust God with the process. Um, if you find some people that you're able to follow that you can understand, you know what I mean? If you can take some classes, take some classes. Do what you can do so that you can get to the next level. For me, mine is practice. Create and adjust, learn from my mistakes. Um, and it's fun. It's fun. The journey, the climb it's all about the climb. It's not about getting to the mountaintop. It's the climb, according to Miley Cyrus. But no, it is. It's the journey, because during the journey, you're learning so much, not just about yourself or about sewing, but about yourself. So now I'm trying to put the clamps in the back. Well, I am. I'm putting the clamps in the back. And I just very carefully slid this. Did I slide it over my head? or did I step out of it? I don't remember, and it's not on camera. But yeah, I just very carefully, and then after I finished, I just made sure I turned it. I think it was already inside out. But anyway, so I just looked at it, assessed it, make sure no clamps were missing or sliding off, and then I just serged it around the belly area. So again, hindsight is 2020. Yeah, it took me, I don't know, I want to say a minute. And a minute is a long time to be trying to put a pin in something or a clampity clamp on something. But I was like, it just kept feeling like it wasn't together. So looking back on it, I realized that what I could have done was clamped it in the front, clamped it on the sides, and then turned the dress around ever so carefully. And then clamped it in the front again. That way I didn't have to, you know what I'm saying? Or I could have asked for someone who lives here's assistant. Okay. But I think I was by myself that night. I think I was by myself. Or maybe it was, sometimes I sew 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Y'all, this is the robe I made. If you didn't see that video, you missed out because I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at the ends. When I get to the end of a garment, I'm at the end of my rope. And I'm just like, I'm done. Whatever the bottom looks like, the bottom just looks like. The last garment I spent really time on towards the bottom was that gown, the DIY ball gown or whatever, prom dress. Because that skirt, y'all, with the horsehair that was in the lining of it, you know what I'm saying? The hem of it. That was I don't think I spent time on, and then it didn't come out right because the horsehair, I'm happy, y'all. It connected correctly. Or no, I saw that the pins were still in there. But anyway, that horsehair, I connected it with some thread, and then it just came undone. So it was just like horsehair just loosely put in the hem of it. And I was like, shoot, you ain't got to tell me twice. You ain't got to tell me twice that horsehair ain't worth the whatever, however much it cost. So, I mean, that's no excuse to just neglect the bottom of garments, but I really do need to do better with the bottom, the hems, because I hemmed one of them, and I remember after hemming it, or yeah, I serged it. I just went around and serged the bottom of them, and then it gave it like a homemade look. Granted, it could have been because the thread was a different color, but it just gave it like it didn't stick to my knees. It wasn't hugging my knees. It was more like, like if you grab somebody by the collar, you grab somebody by the collar, and then like their collar is now look like it's been wrung, like somebody wrang their neck. Anyway, I'm laughing because my husband and I, we joke and we play around, right? And so if you grew up in the 90s, then you seen the movie where it was in House Party and dude was like, "Ooh, you're wrinkling my school clothes." And he's like, "Ooh, you're wrinkling my school clothes." And so whenever me and my husband are playing around, I'm like, "Ooh, you're wrinkling my church clothes." Anyway, it's an inside joke. You got to be there. But yeah, so I have the gift of rambling. Anyway, so yeah, so it has yet to turn out correctly. And I just feel like if everything else is in order, then the bottom of it, the right above the knee, like I don't know. Hopefully in a couple months, this hurdle will have been jumped over. And if not, that's cool too, because that could be my signature touch. Unfinished ends. That's like the story of my life. Just like uh not ruptured relationships, but child, I will start something and then like not fully see it through. You know, there was this one lady I met. Where'd I meet her at? I don't know. It was a Goodwill. We met at the Goodwill and we had a long conversation, exchanged numbers. I went over her house and she had said something during the process of me getting to know her that like every red flag, bells and whistles went off in my head. And I was like, matter of fact, I remember now we had went to Church's Chicken, y'all. We had went to Church's Chicken because I have no problem making friends. The problem is as soon as I see like certain signs, then it's just like, okay, yeah, this ain't what I remember. God has led me beside still waters. So if I don't have to deal with the drama, I'm not going to deal with the drama. I'd rather watch it on Real Housewives of Atlanta than actually live through it. And so this was an older woman, which, I've always hung out. I was the youngest one hanging out. I'm cooking some eggs, y'all. Y'all hear the little sizzling in the background. I've always been the one hanging out with like older people since I was a kid. I remember being like a preteen hanging out with Shorty, and Shorty was like 24. Granted, she was using me to babysit, but anyway. So, and then like just all throughout my life, I would always be gleaning wisdom from the elders. Anyway, so it was nothing that she was like probably 10 years older than me, and we're trying to start a friendship. Yeah, y'all hear me burning the eggs? My goodness, this is embarrassing. Let me turn that off. Um, and so we was at Church's Chicken getting something to eat, after hanging out for a few hours. And she says, "Oh, this is my brother." And I was like, "Oh," I was like this. I was like, "Hey, brother." I was like, "Is that your brother?" Because, in the black community, we'll say somebody's our brother or our sister or our cousin, and they won't be, So I was like, "Is this your brother?" And she turns and she looks at me and she was like, "This is my brother." And she was like, "If I say he my brother, he my brother." And like she went rogue. I was like, "What?" I was like, "Lord Jesus, get me out of this car. Get me back to my vehicle." just, just get me back to my vehicle safely. I mean, it was a simple question, but I guess because I was pressing the issue, like just let me know, is this your brother? Like, are we is this your play brother? If I say it's my brother, it's my brother. I said, Lord, y'all, and it was from that moment forward. And then she gave me like the rundown when we was at her house. She gave me the rundown on how people use her, and I guess she was financially blessed or stable or whatever. And good for her. Okay, that wasn't why I took a liking to you. I took a liking to you because you, just like I, go to all the different Goodwills in the metro area. Like, if you're a frequent thrifter and Goodwiller and you like to, you know what I'm saying? Anyway. And so she gave me the rundown on why people, she was like, "Well, you can ask me for some money one time, and then after that, you know, I'm gonna block you or I'm gonna do something." And it's like, don't assume that I'm not the kind of person that's gonna ask for money. I've never been the kind of person that's gonna ask for money. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? That I'm not in that position. Even when my babies was growing up. And so for somebody to assume that I got my hand out when that's not my nature, I rather work for it. You know what I'm saying? Work for it. And or go without. Like I've never lived above my means. Never. Never. Anyway, so that was just like a huge turn off. And so after that little sitting, I didn't answer her phone calls. I didn't reach out. And that's me. That's how I am. Once I see Like, and that's not fair to people who are trying to get to know me. I realize that, but because they can do me like that, vice versa. They be like, "Oh, she's overly religious. Something's wrong with her." Or she's, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't know. But but I just feel like it's something that I learned growing up in the hood, growing up in an area where um I would see adults and children just sitting on the curb on a random Saturday. This is some of the memories of my childhood. And in this apartment complex, one of their pastimes was fighting. I guess they would get drunk. I guess they would get, under the influence of whatever narcotic and probably crack. I'm just keeping it on it. And they would just start fighting, and they would fight until the ambulance had to be called. And I remember sitting there, and they would people like looking around at other people's response. I was a kid, and I remember seeing the joy on their faces of saying like this guy was convulsing. He was shaking in the street after getting hit with like a pipe. I guess I should have done a trigger warning, but I didn't know I was gonna go there with this. And I just remember being a kid being like, somebody help him. Anyway, but I'm not gonna edit this out. I'm not. But I remember seeing the dysfunction at such an early age where once you start seeing signs of people not having morals, the same morals as you, the same values, they can get angry at the drop of a hat. They can they delight in physical violence, or they just, you know what I'm saying? And it's like once you see these character traits, then you know who they belong to. The Bible says, "Year of your father and the lusts of your father ye shall do." You know what I'm saying? The character traits of God is blessed are the peacemakers. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's willing to overlook a transgression. Proverbs 19:11, the discretion of a man deferreth his anger, and it is his glory to pass over a transgression. So anyway, I played that back, and that was a lot, but I'm gonna leave it in there because I don't know, it might help somebody. It might help somebody understand that um, how can two walk together except they be in agreement? And sometimes you just gotta trust God with the voids in your life. Well, all the time, honey, you got to trust God, but make a effort, a conscious effort to trust God with every void in your life, because He can fill every void. He is a mother to the motherless, a father to the fatherless, a friend to the friendless. He sticks closer than any brother. He is a wonderful counselor. You need therapy? He's a wonderful counselor. He is He's everything you need him to be. That's why I think it was in the book of it is in the book of Genesis, where he says, "I am that I am." He is everything that you need him to be, and then some. And it's on us if we're looking in all the wrong places for what's already nigh us. You know what I'm saying? It's on us because we want that picture perfect Instagram ready lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? We want that whatever the lie the enemy is trying to push in our faces, when that's not it. That's not it. The relationship that you need to be nourishing and watering and tending to is your relationship with the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The relationship with yourself and the Lord. And then once you get that right, then you can once he's the head of your life, then everything else will fall in position because you have that him and the word as the final say so. So you'll know how to treat people. and you'll know how you want to be treated and how you deserve to be treated. And anything less than that, with your body being a temple for the Holy Ghost to dwell in, you're not just going to tolerate anything. Come on now. So hopefully this helps somebody understand that God wants the absolute best for you, and you got to want the absolute best for yourself in dealings with people. And not to say that going around just cutting people off, because I realize that, I need to be more tolerant. Okay. But, and I think I am. I'm pretty tolerant. Like, I will, okay, I'm not. I'm not. Anyway, so we all got stuff we need to work on. But back to me working on the ends of these garments, y'all. Um, I think I'm gonna take this fabric to Joann's and see if I can. I haven't seen I haven't seen any stripe patterns at Joann's. But then again, I ain't been all over that store either. That store is huge, y'all. But I'm gonna try to get some more fabric so I can put a finished look at the end of this dress. I mean, this so far, this is like this is pretty deep. I don't want to say it's the best dress I've ever made, but I mean, the sleeves went on with no problem. I double serged everything to make sure that it was good to go. And I just got to get that bottom together, y'all. I ain't put no lace on it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't messed it up with no lace, no trim, no ribbon. But it is really, when I put this on, I feel really good. I mean, granted, uh, it would be nice if I had like a ruffle over the belly of it, since I just refuse to curb my appetite. Um, Y'all, they got these brownies at Walmart. They are for $5, and it's like a bunch of them in this case. Cause see, I stopped buying the desserts at Price Chopper, because the desserts at Price Chopper, brace yourself. If you're eating, stop. They always got a hair in it, and I'm just like, I was eating some apple fritters, and I pulled out a hair. It wasn't a black people hair, and I was like, what in the world? I mean, granted, it could have been a black woman that cooked it that had a wig on. But I mean, anyway. So I let that slide. You know what I'm saying? I threw away the rest of the apple fritters and I let it slide. Then I went back and I bought something else. I forget what it was. But that too, it's like a pastry section they have. And it's in these little things and they put the little date on there. So they cook it in the store is what I'm saying. And so I've given up on their pastries there. And so I go to Walmart, and Walmart is, I feel like it's the same thing, if not worse, with their pastry section that they make in-house. And so these particular brownies, they're not made in-house. You know what I'm saying? They're sealed, they're brought in, made in a factory. And if you've ever had a factory job, you know that you gotta come in there with the white coat. You come in there and you not working in, what you wore to work, is what I'm saying. They put you in. My mother used to work at Swifts for a little while. And so the way how she described their process before getting on the floor, I feel pretty good knowing that I'm buying something in a facility that is clean like that and hygienic. Anyway, so these brownies, y'all, they got me. They got me twice. Um, I find myself eating one right after another. They are the most moist brownies. They're chewy. They're not dry. They're perfect. And they only $5. Not $5.97, but just $5. Sometimes they put a little something on the end and then it's like, ugh. But that just 500, I don't know, it sends off it makes my endorphins go like butterflies. And so I've had 2 containers. I'm not embarrassed to say that I've eaten 2 family packs of donuts, not donuts, but brownies. And they're so chocolatey. And it's I got what? I'm looking at the container now. It's like 3 or 4 of them in there. So they got them right in the front when you walk in, and they're like stacked piled like a pyramid almost. And it's like, okay, you're not gonna miss this one if I take this one off the pyramid. Like, the pyramid's not gonna fall. And so I put it in my basket, y'all, and I need to pray and walk around the pyramid of brownies. Because if I want these dresses to look, you know what I'm saying? A certain way on me, then I need to avoid the pyramid of brownies. But y'all, I'm gonna speed the rest of this up so we can get to the reason why you're here. Okay, guys, so we are done putting the sleeves on here. Now, I'm not sure if that music is still gonna be in this video, but if that was a quiet, long pause, that means that I didn't do something right and the music was taken off the video. But I thought it was free music. And sometimes I'll watch my video back and I'll be like, where did the music go? And they done took the music off the video. So y'all. But y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video up here because as you can see, I'm trying to find a white that's gonna go with this. And I might just end up putting the white on there that doesn't really go, you know, because I gotta finish the bottom. But I don't know, we're gonna see. But thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate y'all listening to me overshare.